Hi everybody, this is Chapter 6, Recognizing, Analyzing, and Constructing Arguments. So first we should define an issue. An issue in the book is defined as a complexity of problems involving a controversial or uncertainty. In the Webster Dictionary, they define it as a matter that is in dispute between two or more parties. Our country is facing major issues of concern, regardless of what end of the political spectrum you are in. Some of the current issues are the Planned Parenthood, the hashtag Take a Knee with the NFL, religious freedoms, our gun rights, our Confederate monuments, Antifa, ISIS, the death penalty, the border wall, immigration, voter fraud, healthcare, more specifically, issues in each of those, and so much more. If you go to isidewith.com, they have all of these current issues listed, and you can actually vote on them and give your opinion. When looking at these issues, we need to do so free of some biases. Now, this isn't a perfect world. However, none of us are perfect. This world is not perfect, so we must start by asking ourselves questions. These aren't like how or when questions specifically, but we're trying to target more specific information. An example of a question like this is, what is the exact percentage of government funding that is actually used towards abortions? That's a hot topic right now. Another one would be more like, what would a loss of our gun rights actually look like? What is that going to look like for us, for the government, for everybody else involved? Then you need to get the answers. Do some research. Do your own research. Can't stress that enough. And then a big thing that I was always taught is you need to make a pros and cons list. This is good for anything in life. This will help you form an educated opinion, and only then are we able to then form well-educated arguments. Now, looking at page 172, the example in the book of Abraham Lincoln, it's talking about how he would sit down, look over a problem, and actually think it through logically before making a decision on it. I think sometimes, especially these days, we get so much information flying around that we don't actually sit down and try to construct our own views. A lot of times we are just blindly following those that are around us. We trust them and we feel like their opinion is the right one. Now, my question to you is, has there ever been a time, and this is on page 172, number 2, has there ever been a time when you stood your ground on a deep issue despite the risk of losing your friends or even a job? Discuss how your critical thinking skills helped you stand firm. For me, this has happened, and probably more times than I can count, especially these days with the politics and everything getting so crazy. But one particular thing I can remember is a few years back, I used to work in healthcare, and I worked in a nursing home, and I took care of Alzheimer's patients. I had this one lady who her medication for her aggression was making her worse. So I went to our director of nursing, and I explained to her the problem, and I explained to her that I knew the medication very well because I'd used it in a previous job on a previous client, and that we needed to get it fixed, and that it was making it worse, and I'd been checking it for 2 weeks straight. I basically got shooed out of the office. Well, I didn't like that, so I decided to stand my ground, and I turned them in. It was a very horrible career decision. I lost my job, and it was a very good paying job. It was a very good job. I loved my job, but I lost it because of it. I remember my mom, after the whole thing happened, asking me, well, if you had the chance to do it all over again, would you do it the same? And my answer is yes. My answer is yes 9 years ago. My answer is yes now. I feel like if you don't stand for something, even when it's hard, at the risk of losing friends or family or just upsetting people in general, that's when things get scary. That's when you start losing your morals and your values. Those things that you stand for, those are your values. So what do you guys think? Let me know. Thanks.